It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome. It's Jill on Money. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. I am Jill Schlesinger. Happy Super Bowl weekend. I know everyone's really keyed up on this after such an amazing playoff season. Wow, it's truly amazing, actually, to consider how many good games we saw. I don't know. I got to bring down the expectations for this game. I really do. I want to make sure that we're not getting too ahead of ourselves. So if you don't want to completely get sucked into the game, maybe you want to get sucked into the next best decision for your financial life. To do that, what you should do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com. jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, and that will bring you to us. And at the bottom of the form where you put your name and your question, it says, would you be willing to come on the air with us? If you say yes, Mark will do the rest. That is what Randy did in California. We're talking to Randy about retirement. Hi, Randy. How can we help you out?
Well, I'm just calling to see if we're on track to have enough or more than enough money and assets as I'm approaching retirement.
Okay, great. Well, let's do a little bit of the information. So how old are you, Randy?
I am 65.
You sound very spry for 65.
Oh,
and who's your we? Who's the partner spouse there?
My wife, my spouse is also 65.
Okay. And are you guys still working?
My wife has been retired for 3.5 years, and I still work.
What did she retire from?
A teacher, public school teacher.
I got to tell you something, Mark. I don't know why we ever chose mates who were in financial services when we should have chosen mates who were in education, because I'm guessing that wife has a nice pension. Am I right?
Yeah, yes, she does.
We'll get to that in a second. So you're still working, though, right?
Yes, I have my own business, but I only work limited time. I spend about 10 hours a week in my office and a few hours working from home, as I have an office manager who runs probably 80% of my business for me.
Oh, that's great. How much money are you taking out of that business with that reduced schedule?
I bring home about $150,000 a year.
Whoa. Huh? What kind of business is this that you can be so passive and just collect 150 G's?
I'm in the insurance business.
Oh. So you are receiving the income. Is there anyone out there selling on your behalf, or is it just you as the agent?
I'm the agent, and then my office manager is also sells. So
okay.
She does most everything I can do.
Okay. And are you going to transition all the business over to her? Are you going to give her those trails?
Unfortunately, it doesn't work the way. When I retire, my business closes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Like in the brokerage business, you can actually say, okay, let Joe Schmo or Joan Schmo take over. So they don't allow that? That's so interesting to me.
No, it's the way our contract with our company reads.
So if you were to retire fully, that 150 goes away and the trails go back to the home office, right?
Yes, correct.
And when I say trails, gang, everyone listening, that just means it's like commission. You get a commission up front for a lot of products that are insurance-based. And then every year that all those clients are paying their premiums, there's a little piece of the action that you get as another form. And it's trailing income, I guess is the official way to say it. So, I mean, there's no reason to shut things down right now, right?
That's exactly right. That's why I'm still working.
But are you soliciting new business or not?
Somewhat. She handles most of that for me.
And you can just pass that off to her. And she's happy with the arrangement, right? You're paying her a lot. Is she making a good chunk? How much is she making? Let's talk about her financial planning.
She makes about $50,000 plus some extra commission.
Don't you think you should pay her more? She's doing all the work, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good pay for the job.
Because she's not really on the hook for doing a ton of stuff.
No, and she has a lot of flexibility because we are working partially from home, sometimes most of the time in the office. And I make it very easy for her, so it's a good trade-off for both of us.
All right. How much longer should we milk this cow? How long are you going to keep this business, do you think?
I would like to do it for 5 years till I'm 70, but I may stay longer.
How much is your wife's pension annually?
48,000.
Obviously, you guys can wait till you're 70 to claim Social Security, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She does not get Social Security in California, but
I see. And when you turn 70, what is the Social Security estimate for you?
50 grand.
How much do you guys need to live on?
Need is the interesting word. I keep track. I keep track of all our expenses going back 6-7 years just to see what we spend without budgeting.
Yep.
It's broken down in 3 sections. We tend to spend about $75,000 a year just on living, but that does not include travel and taxes. And travel is a big part of our budget.
It was.
Yeah, well,
What was that budget number?
that's supposed to be about 50 grand.
What? Get out of here. That's a serious chunk of moolah.
Yeah, well, that's why I had encouraged my wife to retire 3.5 years ago and cut back to less hours so we could spend more time traveling.
Okay. When you say taxes, are you talking about property taxes or taxes on your income? Like, what are you talking about?
Income
All right.
tax.
House. How much is your house worth?
900,000.
Any outstanding mortgage on it?
No.
Okay. And what about your retirement savings? What have you done?
Okay, we have 2.2 million in retirement IRAs rollovers from SEP and 403Bs.
All pre-tax, right?
Yeah, that's all pre-tax.
Okay. What else?
$100,000 in Roth IRAs and HSAs, which we've just recently been able to establish.
Mm-hmm.
And then about $670,000 in taxable brokerage accounts.
Okay. Do you have any grown kids floating out there?
Yes, we have 3 children between 35 and 39, all grown and independent and doing very well.
Can I ask you a dumb question? What's the problem here? You got tons of money. You're in great shape. What's your issue?
Some of the issue is I've done some of the Monte Carlo simulations online.
Yeah.
And I'll put the same information in, and one will say you have a 90+% chance of never running out of money. Other ones say 70% chance.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Well,
You're not running out of money. You're not running out. First of all, you're not going to spend 50 grand on travel every year for the next 25 years. Let's just say, for argument's sake, right, that her pension and your Social Security are basically enough, even if it, when those two pieces are taxed, will pay your basic living expenses, right? So then you've got about $3 million that you've got to then use as your slush fund. I don't see on any planet how that's not enough money for you to do what you want to do. I really don't.
Plus, we have rental property that we get income from.
Excuse me. Let's talk about that. How much is the rental worth?
We have 3 houses in our town that we rent out. Their combined value is about $1.4 million.
Oh my God, this is crazy. And are there mortgages outstanding on those?
No, they're all paid for.
We'll get back to Randy in just a second. Hop on to JillOnMoney.com to ask your question.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here to try to take the mystery out of your financial life. We do that by asking you to send us your financial questions. And they don't have to just be about retirement. They don't have to be about maybe even your portfolio. They don't even have to be about taxes. They could be about some larger issues. Maybe it's about a job change. Maybe you want to figure out whether you have enough money accumulated to do something different in the next group of years. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we hear from you. And you can get in touch with us by going to our website. That is JillOnMoney.com. Now, there is a little button. It says Contact Us. You can click on that contact button and tell us what the question is. And you can also let us know if you would like to join us from the Capital One Bank virtual studios. Capital One, this is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? And if you do want to come on the air, the nice part is we can ask a lot of follow-up questions. You might hear that from time to time that I'll say, I don't have enough information when I'm reading an email. Well, if you come on the air with us, then we don't have that problem. Isn't that great? So just come on. It's way more fun. And we can do what we're doing with Randy right now, which is trying to figure out whether he's got enough money for retirement and if they're on track. So let's get back to Randy. Mark, am I missing something? Is there any way that they don't have plenty of money to do what they want to do? I don't see it either. I mean, unless you're telling me that actually the $50,000 a year is really $150,000 a year some years. Like it doesn't make no sense to me. You want to spend the 50 grand a year on travel for the years that you're healthy and happy and able to do so, right? So
Right.
Essentially what that usually has translated to when I've been doing this a long time. So I kind of feel like I've retired a number of times with people. It's usually from 65 to 80 is when the bulk of the money is spent, okay, on that kind of stuff. And you have the money to pay for that. I mean, frankly, the rental properties alone, what do they generate in terms of income?
We net about $35,000 a year now.
And you could always sell that and pay some taxes that are due and, take some money out and put it into the corpus of your estate and, have that money work for you. I mean, there's no problem here. There's absolutely no problem. And so I get that you're a total do-it-yourselfer because, no normal human being says, I've run several Monte Carlo scenarios. 85% of the people listening are like, what on earth is she talking about? So these are scenarios that help people look forward and use statistics to try to game out whether or not they're going to use up their money or how their money should be invested. And over time, what the impact of pulling money out of a portfolio will have on you longer term. So you're doing all that and you're also managing the money, right?
Yes, we do everything ourselves.
There's nothing bad here. How are you managing the money? Are you using index funds? Are you stock pickers? What do you guys do?
It's mostly almost exclusively at Schwab in various index funds and exchange traded funds. There are a few actively managed funds. About 2.5 years ago, we went to a financial advisor and got a financial plan set up because we were about 95+% invested in all equities. And we knew that was getting dangerous after my wife retired once we were in our early 60s. So he made arrangements and suggestions on making things a little safer.
I don't even know how to say this, but you're mocking us by calling with this situation. Okay.
Well, I do have some questions I want
Let's
your
go.
thoughts on.
Okay, let's shoot. Question 1. Let's go. It's like the lightning round. Let's do it.
Okay, first thing is your opinion on Roth conversions for us. Our RMDs are going to be quite high, but every time I look at Roth conversions with our income and taxes in California and federal and the investment income surcharge, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it's not great for you. If you stopped working, I guess that's a time because then your tax bracket. In other words, if you said, okay, here's the trade-off. Okay, I'm going to stop taking $150,000 so my tax bracket goes down. Not a good trade, right? You're better off collecting the $150 for as long as you can. But, given the fact that you have 200, like let's say you're in the 24% tax bracket, right? That's your top bracket. I mean, I'd convert some at 24%. What the hell? I would do some just to start the process. And yeah, you're going to pay taxes. And yeah, but I don't see I don't see tax rates going down in California. You're going to move out of California?
No, never.
So then I wouldn't mind converting some of the money staying in the 24% bracket.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, that's easy to do. Okay, number 2.
Right now, I contribute the maximum to my simple IRA every year, close to 20 grand.
Mm-hmm.
I was considering to avoid continuing to increase our tax deferred accounts, maybe for the next 5 years plus when I'm working, stopping the simple contributions and just putting that in our brokerage account.
I completely agree with that. I'd love you to have $1 million in your taxable account. You're going to spend some of that money to convert. But yeah, that would be great to just pile up that money.
And then I had my financial advisor had made a suggestion in considering from now through retirement to have the capital gains and dividends that are normally reinvested in our retirement funds be put in a cash account instead. So when it's time to being forced to take the RMDs, if the market falls, we could use that as withdrawing instead of selling some of the shares.
True, but like you do have 7 years to do that. What is the allocation of the retirement accounts right now? What's the, tell me the balance of it. Is it mostly equities still?
We're at about 22% in bonds, 52% in U.S. equities, about 14 in international, and 12 in REITs.
I mean, I think that basically if you every year start kind of letting some of your cash position, rather your bond position, start to creep up a little bit, like you'll kind of dollar cost average in a way. If rates are rising, you're going to buy shares at lower prices. I would certainly not stop your distributions on your bond funds. I would repurchase bond funds, and you just can move your allocation up a tiny bit every year. You can say, and 22% in bonds at 65, I can go to 25% by the time I'm 60. Like you can go up a few percent. And by the way, when you start to convert some of the money, you can really get a better sense of the rebalancing process. And you can maybe be a little bit more cognizant of the fact that as that time nears, you're going to have distributions. But I don't know if I'd do that right now. Okay. It's a long time. 7 years is a long time away.
Well, I want to be prepared because if anything changes, I might decide to retire sooner.
I have to say, it is very difficult for me to see a world in which retiring and giving up the $150,000 makes a ton of sense. I just don't see it unless it's like onerous. But even if you went away for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks at a time, it sounds like the person who you're underpaying in your office. See how I said that? She needs to get, you really, truly need to, come on, pay her a little bit more. Mark, what do you think? Don't you think shouldn't the assistant get a raise? Right. I would literally say like, hey, assistant, I'm just going to call her Jill. Hey, Jill, you know what? You're doing such a great job. And she knows how much money you're making. There for the grace of your assistant, go you, meaning that you can't do this without her and you trust her. So throw her some extra bucks, give her an extra $10,000. It doesn't impact you, but it allows you to just make her feel good. You don't want, if she left tomorrow, wouldn't it suck for you?
Yeah, I'd retire.
Well, excuse me. So then we now know you're underpaying her.
There you go. Okay. I'll take that under advisement.
Don't be a pig. You're in great shape. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about Monte Carlo. And sometimes the simplest solution is just right in front of you. Keep taking the money, convert a little bit of the the pre-tax retirement assets at a time. Pay the assistant more because, frankly, if you made $120,000 a year and she made 80, you could probably keep doing this longer and longer and longer. And the longer you collect that money, the better off everything's going to be. The picture only gets better. You see how easy it is? You send the question, you come on the air, we answer the question, we send you off on your merry way. That's how we roll here at Jill on Money. And if you want to figure that out even more, just go to the website, jillonmoney.com, click the contact button, and we'll get you on the air. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Now, during the break, did you go to the website? Did you go to jillonmoney.com, just like I told you to do? Did you bookmark it? That's really what we're hoping for. If you're on the site, or if you haven't done so already, don't forget to sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It's free, comes out every Friday, and it's a nice amalgamation of a lot of different things going on in the financial world. So I encourage you to do that. You can also subscribe to our 2 other shows, the Jill on Money podcast and the Eye on Money podcast. We've got links so that you can get it wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So right now, let's get back to one of your questions. It's John from New Jersey. Hi, John. How can we help you out?
So I took a retirement plan a few months ago, and I just want to make sure my numbers were correct, even though it's kind of too late already.
Well, too late to cancel, as we used to say on the floor of the exchange. But okay, yeah. So John, how old are you?
I'm 57. My wife is 57 as well.
Okay. So you took an early retirement. What did that mean? Like, what were you earning back then?
Like $170K.
Okay. And what did they offer you to get out?
Probably about 100.
And is there a pension involved in this job?
I do have a pension. Starts whenever I want, but pretty going to turn it on at about 60 years old.
Okay. And how much will that be, John?
$24.98.
I'm going to call it $2,500. Do you mind?
Okay.
All
yeah.
right.
And it goes up like $50 every year I wait.
Oh, you got. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, and you're going to probably do that. You said it's 60?
Yep.
Okay. Is your wife still working?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And how much does she earn?
85 plus a bonus.
Okay. How much is the bonus usually?
Around 35.
How much you guys think you need to live on?
We live on about 10,000 a month, 9,000 a month, something around here.
See, this is one of those things where Mark and I were just talking about this, that in certain parts of the country, it seems probably crazy to think $10,000 a month, a lot of money, but you live in a high-cost area, and you live in a high-cost state with a big tax implication. Tell us about your living situation. How much is your house worth?
$650,000.
Any mortgage remaining?
About 4 or 5 months left.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. How's that feel?
Awesome.
That's good. And you're going to stick around in this area, or are you going to move, or what do you think?
I would like to move. The wife wants to stay, see where the kids end up.
Where are you going, big shot?
I would like to go to somewhere a little warmer.
It's very warm today. I'm talking to you on a day when in the Northeast it's quite warm. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking February's around the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go through your current savings. So we know that you need $10,000 a month. We know that of that, you'll have $2,500 a month from your pension. What will your Social Security benefit be?
$37.60.
Okay. And what about your wife?
At 62, she'll probably take hers. It's about $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. And then when I turn mine on, she'll get half of mine.
Okay. I got it. So it seems to me that you got a good chunk of the way there between Social Security and pension. Was that part of the way that you figured it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right. That seems reasonable. It's not like that's not a bad choice. So let's say that the pre-tax, at least between the pension and the Social Security, is probably about $7,000 a month pre-tax that you have coming in. Now, let's talk about the savings part. What have you guys accumulated in addition to that paid-for house, very soon to be paid-for house?
Okay, 401 is $2.1 million. Mm-hmm. Roth 401k about 100. I got a brokerage account where it's 65, and I got some cash, 132.
Okay, you got some kids?
I have 3. One is gone. One is about to leave, and one is in higher education.
I don't know how to read that. You mean that person is working in higher education, or that is somebody who's in grad school?
She's in grad school.
Okay. And will she pay for herself? Like, tell me, like, what do you think you need to?
That's the plan, is that she's paying for herself.
Okay.
But mom and dad are helping her a little bit here and there.
Okay. When you think about it going forward, though, anyone else that's relying on you for income, parents?
We have a parent that lives with us, but just the basic needs.
All right. So when you gave me the $10,000 a month for expenses, you were including a little kid stuff, a little parent stuff, a little this, a little that, right?
Yes.
All right. That sounds good. So what about you? Are you doing anything? You're 57 years old. We're about the same age. Are you really retired, or are you doing some part-time stuff?
No.
Are you doing anything else?
I have a couple of part-time gigs.
Really?
Stuff that I enjoy to do. Yeah.
Like what? Tell us something fun that I can look forward to.
I'm a referee.
I used to do that when I was in high school. Those parents are nuts.
I'm a pretty big guy. They don't bother me.
Okay. How much do you make from being a referee?
Probably 10 to 15, depending on how much I want to work.
Okay. And what about the other job?
Transportation, I'm kind of just getting involved in that. So I think I'll make about 12.
Okay. So it's fair to say that about 20 grand a year right now, right?
Yeah.
How much longer do you think your wife's going to work?
I hope till 65, but she wants to get out at 60.
Oh, look at you, you big shot. Oh, you get to retire when you're 57, but she's got to retire when she's 65.
60 is the plan.
All right, 60 is a plan. How about healthcare? What are you going to get for that?
The wife and daughter, my wife takes care of in her health plan. And I was lucky enough to get a plan through work. I was able to keep my medical. It cost me $450 a month.
Oh, my God, that's sweet. So what happens when your wife is 60 and she retires? Will she be able to go on your plan from work, or do we have to pay for her separately?
No, she's going to go on my plan, but the cost goes up to $1,400.
We'll get back to John's question in just a minute. Again, hop onto that website, JillOnMoney.com, and we'll help you figure out the next best place to go. Oh, and by the way, while you're there, the other thing you should check out is the resources section. We're looking to add resources. So any resources that you use during your day-to-day financial life, let us know. Just fill out the form, do the contact us, tell us, hey, I use this. This is a great calculator. Whatever. We want to hear from you. Jill on Money. We will be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life, but only if you let us do that, you know? Mark and I have been doing this program since, since 2011. And what we continually say to one another is doing this show, doing our 2 podcasts, it is the best part of our weeks. It really is. It's so much fun. It's great to hear from you. It's great to answer your questions. And it's great to feel like we're a resource for you. So if you need an extra set of ears and eyes on your situation, whatever it is, both Mark and I are certified financial planners. We love to hear from you. So go ahead, go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know what's on your mind. It's really easy to do. And as you fill out the form, there'll be a little question. Would you be willing to come on the air with us? And that's what we want you to do. We want you to come on the air with us because there's just, there's more nuance in having this kinds of conversations with you live. It's better. So let's get back to our conversation with John. Again, we are trying to go back in time, and sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's not. But let's get back to John and see if he's on the right path. And do you think your wife would work part-time during, from, let's call it 60 to 70 or not?
She'll definitely work at something. I don't know if she'll get to 70, maybe 65.
Okay. Right now, when she is contributing to retirement in her plan, is she using a Roth or is she using a traditional plan?
She's using Roth.
Okay, great. Do you feel like you guys can live pretty well? I mean, it's not 100%, but are you doing okay between her income and her bonus and your little extra money? Can you live on that, or you need to pull a little extra money out?
We'll probably pull a little extra money out.
Maybe like 10 or 20 grand a year?
I was thinking a little more than that.
How much?
Like 80.
80? What are you talking about? You just told me you have expenses of 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? Wait a second. You're screwing with me, man. I'll tell you that right now. I just did the math here. Let's do the math. Mark, Do you have your handy dandy calculator ready for this? Here we go. Let's do 85 plus 35 plus 20. That just seems like 140. And then out of that, let's take 25 because she's probably maxing her retirement account. So let's even say you got 100 coming in right now. You pay some taxes on it. Tell me where the extra 80. What's the 80 part of that?
I was figuring to keep the same lifestyle that we have now is just to take whatever my salary was before.
No. Because then you're going to pull too much money out of your investments too early. You're too young to do that. So here's what I think. You got 130 grand in cash, right?
Yes.
You've got this $2.1 million in your 401k. You've got the brokerage. You've got the Roth. So ideally, what you're going to do is, your income is lower. You need to pull money somewhere. I mean, there's a couple of choices. You could conceivably, when you turn 59 and a half, start pulling money out of the 401k. No problem with doing that, by the way, and pay the tax that's due. You're in a lower bracket at the time and start pulling money out. But I don't think it's wise to take much more, considering what you've just told me, than, 40, 50 grand a year out of your pot of money. And by the way, I'm not so sure your wife has to put money into her retirement account at this point. I'm almost considering just like using that money to live on rather than, you can pay the tax that's due. You're not in a high tax bracket anymore. You're really not. And you can delay taking the pension, or you can take the pension, like you said, at age 60. But until that time, I wouldn't start plowing through this money. Now, this changes with one big idea. You ready?
Yep.
If you sold the house and you moved to somewhere cheaper, you can do more than the 40 or 50. You really could. You're young, man. I mean, I consider myself young. We're about the same age. And you got a long life ahead of you. You're going to have great income. There's no doubt about it. So there's some phases here. 57 to 60, right, when you turn your pension on and when your wife, right? So between now and 60, you guys should be stockpiling cash. I don't think I'd even put money into her retirement account anymore. You're going to hate that because it's going to, you feel weird. But I think it's better to just take the money and live on the money. And then from 60 to 7, so it's like 60 to 6, so it's almost 4 phases, 57 to 60, then she retires, then 60 to 65, that period of time where you'll have the pension up until you get Medicare, right, 65, and then 65 to 70 is sort of another phase, and then over 70. It's weird, like once you get to 70, you guys are golden.
Yes.
It's amazing. You
That
just
I
have to make sure
definitely
you don't plow through all of your money between now and then, 13 years, and not spending too much money on the kids and not doing a little bit, keeping the expenses. If you could do instead of 10 a month, 9 a month, 8 a month, something like that, that's even better. But I'm just saying that if you spend too much money early in your retirement, you really would put yourself at risk. And I don't want to see you guys do that because you're in good shape.
Okay.
All right, John, thank you so much for joining us. Keep us posted. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Okay, if you, like John, want to discuss what's going on in your life, just give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Tell us what's going on, and Mark and I will be delighted to help you out. Okay, Jill on Money, we will be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we finish up the hour, we will read an email because that's what we can do. Okay, so Michael writes that full retirement is about a year away, and I have some debt about the same amount that I would add to my 401k. Should I reduce my 401k contribution and just get rid of the debt? I wonder what kind of debt you have. This is one of those cases where I wish you could come on the program with us. Okay, but let's go through it. Are you talking about credit card debt? Then yes, absolutely. Are you talking about an auto loan that, maybe has a few percentage points? Sure. Are you talking about a mortgage? Then no, definitely not. And maybe there's one other, a little bit of a question I have, which is, if you're reducing your 401k contribution, would you be able to at least just reduce it, maybe just to get your match? Maybe that's what I would do. Gosh, I'd really like to hear more about what's going on for you, really, Michael, because I feel like there's more to the story. So if you wouldn't mind, we'd love for you to follow up with us. Jill on Money, just hit that contact button, follow up, and let us know if there's more to this story that we're missing. I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but that's what I'd like to know. Okay, so when you're on the website, the Contact Us button will follow you wherever you are. In addition, you should read our blog post. You should absolutely check out our other broadcasts, Jill on Money Podcast, I on Money Podcast, and you should absolutely sign up for our free weekly newsletter because it is free, comes out every week, and I'm writing a second book, and I bet my publisher is just going to want to see the number of subscribers up. So make me look good to the publisher, wouldn't ya? It's the least that we could ask you to do. Come on. I'm begging now. Okay, we'll be right back. One more hour. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You are back. It's hour number 2 of Jill on Money. Oh, baby. It is Super Bowl weekend, and I hope your team wins. I don't know about you guys, but I think I really just shot the moon on the playoffs. So I'm dropping those expectations down for a great Super Bowl. But if you're going, have a fun time, and if you're going to a Super Bowl party, don't eat too much, because that's what I do at Super Bowl parties. I eat too much and get nervous about whatever team I'm rooting for. If you have a financial question, give us a jingle electronically. Go to jillonmoney.com. That is our website. Click the Contact Us button and let us know what's going on and how we might be able to help you out. Don't forget to let us know if you would like to come on the air with us. That makes it so much better. That is what Mark did. Mark is on the line from Maryland. Welcome to the program, Mark. How are you today?
I'm doing great. The school system has a snow day today, but I'm retired and I don't really care anymore.
Oh my God. Were you part of a school system?
Yes, for 38 years.
Really? Yep. Did you teach? Were you an administrator?
I was sort of an administrator. I was an assistive technology specialist, a speech language pathologist that worked with special needs children kids like with developmental disabilities, autism, who needed to be using computer technology to be able to communicate, like tablets, Apple devices to be able to communicate with others because of limited speech communication.
Wow, you're a do-gooder. So you put your time in and you did good while you were there. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so I was able to retire. I'm married, and my wife, I retired July 1st, 2021, and my wife retired from her nursing job August 1st, and she's still working part-time, and she's miserable and driving me crazy, but being a nurse. But hey, it's money, and we're holding on.
So she's miserable. What kind of nurse is she?
She's an oncology specialist.
Oy, yeah. You guys are both in like some serious do-gooding professions. So
we
that's
didn't talk about our professions with each other too often. It made us each other depressed too much.
I know. Although will say this, when I was a young pup on Wall Street, I was a volunteer. I don't know if you know this, Mark. I volunteered at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital, and I volunteered in the pediatric oncology ward, which in the late 80s was like basically no one was in there very long because most of them died. But I would tell you that it was the most gratifying, heartwarming experience, especially compared to being a commodities trader. So there's a part of that that's like a gift of saying to somebody like they teach us something every single day, right?
No doubt.
All right, so let's get to you. Enough about me. You retired after 38 years. Tell me about first of all, how old are each of you?
I'm 61 and my wife is 62.
Okay, and now tell me about the pension.
So I got a school pension. That's about $67,000. Well, actually, $57,000 for the pension. I just started my own consulting business, and I make about $10,000 so far. So I'm saying about $67,000 for the year for myself.
Great.
And my wife has a pension from her hospital scenario, and she's only getting $19K. She's working part-time, taking about $68,000 a year. So total.
Whoa. 6'8"?
6'8" at a part-time basis.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. Do you get medical coverage through your pension?
Yeah, you're not going to believe this. So I was going to get really good medical coverage, which is only going to cost me probably about $700 a month for family. It's actually cheaper to go on to her benefits on a part-time basis. So we're paying under $700 a month, well under $700 a month for our medical with her. So we're staying.
What do you mean well under, like 600 or 650?
It's probably costing us about $300 some a month for.
Get out of here. $300 a month?
It might be just a little bit more than that. Yeah.
All right, I'll call it $350. But that is only as long as she's consulting, right?
Yeah, as long as she's working. And then when she's done there, we get to bop back onto my school system healthcare program.
Okay, which is the $700.
Right.
But in both cases, very affordable.
Very much so. It's just amazing, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So how long is she going to work part-time? She's 62 and she's miserable.
Well, she says she's miserable, but, like us all, it's a part of our worldview. And so nurses are a kind of a unique breed in that a lot of them will continue to work for a long time, and she'll go as long as she can. She's able to. I'm encouraging her to consider retiring soon in the next 2 or 3 years, quite frankly.
If you look at your current spending needs, what do you think that is? What are your needs for income?
I use personal capital, which is great in terms of figuring those things out. But I would say we range somewhere between $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And
will you both be entitled to Social Security?
Yes.
What's the game plan on that? Like delay that as long as she's working? Or what?
My advisors basically tell me that it makes sense for me. I'm one of those few where it makes sense for me to start collecting it probably at 62.
Why is that?
I got a good pension, and I'm doing pretty well in terms of how I'm actually saving my money and what we're doing right now. So there's a little bit of a gap between now and 70, and I don't really want to touch anything that is a part of my retirement for a while yet.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on in like the money you've saved. First of all, let's talk about house. You own a home?
Yeah, I own a home. It's worth $1.2 million, and we owe about $455 on it. It's got a 30-year fixed at 2.65%.
Get out.
I'll never pay it off.
But you're going to stay in that house. You like that house, right?
Although there's a possibility that with the kids, we still have both boys at home right now because of COVID and school. I think eventually we might consider downsizing and doing something a little different, but that's probably 7 or 8 years out.
Okay. How old are the kids?
26 and 23.
So the 23-year-old you're still supporting, 26-year-old financially stable on his own?
Pretty much. He's one of these classic kids where he was out of college. He did really well getting a nice job, and then all of a sudden COVID hit. He got laid off, and now he's at home and just found a job in midsummer. So he's still at home for a little while, but looking to hopefully move out soon.
How about money you guys have saved? Like, let's do the boring stuff. Emergency reserve fund, like money in the bank.
Yeah. we have about $300,000 in cash in the bank. And I know that sounds crazy, but some of that money was cash out from sick leave. We had a $200,000 reserve for a while there that we were just holding for our emergency fund cash reserves. We wanted to remodel a kitchen, and part of our retirement planning was to probably buy a new truck at some point, but I don't want to buy a new truck anytime soon.
Well, how much should we assume that you soak up with the house stuff, like whatever you want to do in the house?
Yeah, I'm thinking right around between the truck and the car, probably something around 150,000 maybe.
So you'll be left with 150 in cash eventually.
Between 150 and 200, yeah.
Okay, which is fine. We'll get back to Mark in just a second. If you've got a financial question, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You are back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here to try to take the mystery out of your financial life. I'm Jill Schlesinger. I am joined by executive producer Mark Talercio, the best executive producer in the world. We are both certified financial planners, and you know what? This is the show where money is not scary and it is not boring. Dare I say, it's somewhat entertaining. And we try to just kind of go through your questions, try to help you make the next best move. We are not here to litigate the past. We are here to kind of help you out and make the next best decision for you, for your family, whatever's on your mind. If you have a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know what's on your mind, and we'll maybe get you on the air. Maybe we'll get you on the old Capital One Bank virtual studios. Capital One, this is Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet? Okay, let's get back to Mark in Maryland. So you have the emergency reserve fund. Is there any money that's in non-retirement assets, like a brokerage account?
Yeah, I still have a taxable account with a financial planning firm for $283,000. They're charging me about 1% assets under management with that.
So it's $283,000. You're paying 1% to a financial planning firm for the management of just that, or is there something else they're managing?
Just that. And one of the things that I did is I did roll over our 403Bs and our 450 and our 457 to a company that's charging me 70 basis points to manage the money. I've always felt like uncomfortable. The easy part was really making the money, investing and making the money. But in terms of the distribution of income and the money and the volatility of markets and all that, then I feel like you're introducing me to a whole new complexity that I'm really nervous about doing it myself. So I have felt like, sticking with an advisor, but I just have been doing the math, and the math just drives me nuts. On personal capital alone, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of the next 25 plus years.
Yeah. So how much money has been rolled over?
2.3 million has been rolled over at 70 basis points.
So when I look at where, like this second, forgetting about your consulting income for a moment, I'm just going to put that aside as if it doesn't exist. Right. The two pensions plus your wife's part-time work generates about $144,000. That should covers most of your basic needs, right? Yes. Like that amount. Okay. So I don't see any reason why you would take Social Security at age 62. I got to be honest. I don't know who gave you that advice. I think it's crap. I really do. It doesn't seem like you need that money, and we are not sure why you would take that permanent haircut to your Social Security. It seems like, you're healthy, right? You're a healthy guy?
Yeah, I'm fairly healthy, although I wasn't able to qualify for long-term care insurance when we looked at it at 55.
Yeah, you don't
But
need
I don't
it.
really think I need it. I think I can self-insure at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, look, your wife doesn't have to work at 68, making the 68,000. She could pull back a little bit also. She doesn't have to make herself so crazy.
Right.
Is there a certain amount she has to earn to qualify for the medical insurance? Is it what's going on? Why is it like if she's really not happy, I don't want to make her work. You guys are in great financial shape. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
I think the reality, I think she does understand that she could retire, and I think she's going to wait just for a little while, and that's fine. I think it's just going to play itself out. I think things are getting increasingly intense again, like they were a year ago, with providing service to people.
So you are in great shape. No, you should not be putting more money into retirement. You should be living however you need to live. You are doing a phenomenal job. Look, I don't know so much about the folks who are managing your money at 70 basis points. It seems to me that you're calling us, you're chatting with us because there's something that's nagging at you underneath all of this. And I don't know if it's the fee or the people who are advising you or what. But if that's the case, you do have other alternatives. You certainly, I mean, you have an account at Vanguard. I'll just bring that up for a second. I'm not in the can for Vanguard. They've never sponsored the show, but I do love them. They have a service that's called the Vanguard Personal Service Advisor. If you have at least 50 grand, I think it is the minimum, you can get money management like a robo advisor, and you can get financial planning for 30 basis points a year. So you could do something like that. You could go to a fee-only financial planner to do one big fat financial plan that proves what I think is pretty obvious, which is you're in great shape. I mean, in some respects, it feels to me like you're just, it's very weird to go through this transition thing called retirement because you're workers and you've been working your whole lives, but you've done everything correct. Number one, I would keep that emergency reserve fatter than you might normally think, because not just to do the work, but not just to buy the car, but because you've got kids who still might need some help. And because you may have, your wife may say in 3 weeks, like, I'm freaking done. I'm not doing this anymore, in which case then you're going to need to tap some of the money. And if she does start to at least have feelings of like, I don't want to do this anymore, give her an out, which is not just 0 or 100, meaning she doesn't have to say retire. You could say, don't take as many hours. Like, let's make it easier for you, honey. Like, we're in great shape. Jill and Mark told me so. No, seriously, you're in really good shape. So that even if it were that she, instead of making $68,000, she was making $30,000. And even if you said, well, we have to pay $700 a month, not $350 a month for health insurance, doesn't matter. You are in such good shape.
Right now, we kicked up the contributions to her plan. I think we kicked it up to like 65% to get it to a max out for the 2021 year. But I think we want to just simply stop contributing to her plan. There's a little bit of match going on there. Should we just?
I would just contribute up to the match. Just let's grab that money. But after that, done. You're done. And live on that. And give her the out. Give her an out that says, if this is too much, please, you don't have to do this, but I understand if you want to keep working, it's a nice social touch point. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that people get out of work. You're finding it yourself. You've got a little consulting thing going on, but neither of you should feel any pressure at all. You've done all of the hard work. And for those people who are listening, what's fascinating about this is, as we're talking through, you can hear that as we start to consider a lot of these big options, some of this is just emotional. Mark's never retired before, and neither has your wife. This is just a big transition.
It is.
And so I think that you are in very good shape. And if you feel like you want to have, again, I don't want to throw the financial planning firm under the bus in any way, shape, or form. So if you are telling me that, you know what, we're going to consolidate the 2.3 million and we did that and we're paying 70 basis points for it, that's fine. The 283 that's at the other place, the 1% money, I would just probably move it into a Vanguard account right now.
You read my mind, because that's kind of what I was thinking, maybe that, they don't really Why pay additional $3,000 for them to manage that?
And if you start to feel like you're really comfortable at Vanguard, maybe you want to experiment with the Vanguard personal service advisor with that brokerage account.
I could be with these guys that are at 70 basis points until I start feeling comfortable. And then if I want to go to Vanguard at 30 basis points, I could do that at another point in time, a little bit later.
Exactly. You can either manage it yourself, but with that 300 grand, you might even say, well, maybe I'll test out Vanguard Personal Service Advisor. Maybe it sucks. Maybe you hate it. Maybe whatever. You can try it out if you want to, or you could just do it yourself. And you can keep it simple. I mean, again, simple means a few index funds. You're not putting any of the cash in there. Really, it's not worth it. And the money that's in that brokerage account should be very conservatively managed, meaning that really no more than 50% in high risk stuff. Okay, when we return, more of your questions. During the break, go to JillOnMoney.com and just bookmark it, whether it's on your phone or your desktop or your iPad. I don't care. That's all. Okay, we will be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. All right, we got someone waiting right away, so let's head out to Steve in Minnesota.
I'm 59 years old, about to be 60, contemplating in the next 5 to 10 years retiring. Okay. And, so I've got some people asking me to do certain things with my money or proposing to do certain things with my money that I'm unsure of.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more. Are you married or single?
Married. 2 adult children.
How old are the adult children?
22 and 20.
Are they on their own? I mean, 20 is young. Are they still in college or what?
Yeah, one's still in college and one is at home and finding her way.
Oh, brother. So you got a lot of mouths to feed still.
Yeah.
Does your spouse work?
Yes, she does. She's a counselor. She owns her own clinic and does mental health counseling.
Oh, okay. Oof. She's probably very busy. Everyone needs that.
Yes.
And how old is she?
54.
Okay. Tell me about how much you guys make together. What do you earn?
I earn probably 150 on good years and a little less than that on the bad years.
Okay. And what about her? She's self-employed. So how does she manage that? Does she draw a salary? Is she taking S-corp dividends? What's she up to?
She draws a salary and she's probably roughly half of that.
Okay. Do you both have retirement plans?
Yes, we do. She has a Roth, and then I have a 401k, traditional 401k through my employer, and then some other funds that have come, as the business was sold. I had other funds that stayed where they were or had to be transferred and didn't get into the 401k.
How much money's in the 401k right now?
It's fluctuating just above $1 million.
Okay, that's great. And that's all pre-tax money, or is there some Roth money in there?
Well, there's starting to be some Roth money in there now, but it's just recently. So right now it's all pre-tax.
The other monies that you have invested, tell me more about that.
There's another qualified plan that's at about 340. And then my wife has a Roth that's about 150.
Any non-retirement assets? I presume you have an emergency reserve fund, but anything that's invested not in a retirement plan?
Yeah, I have partial ownership in the company I work for that has, a value out there right now. Until I retire it, I can't touch it.
What do you think that's worth?
Oh, somewhere between 3 and 5. 100,000.
100 or million?
100.
I wanted it to be million, man. I'm sorry.
Hopefully it will be someday.
When you look at your income together, your 150 and the 75, is that enough to support you guys? Do you feel like, life's pretty good on that money?
Yep, we're comfortable.
Okay. Are you maxing out your 401k? Are you putting in the max plus the catch-up contribution?
Yes, I am. Did last year, and I plan to do it this year.
And your wife's maxing out her Roth, right?
She's starting to, yes.
Okay. All right. I understand. You got kids in college.
Yeah.
Now, how are you paying for that? When you had said you have one left at college, did you have money set aside, or
Yes,
is that out of, okay.
We had money set aside, and then we're paying some of the stuff as we go.
Okay. Good. All right. That's fine. How much is your house worth?
Probably $400.
Is there a mortgage outstanding on
A
it?
small mortgage. We probably have about 5 or 6 years left.
Or do you think is this the house that you want to stay in for a while, or do you think? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. That's good. So now tell us, what is it that's being pitched to you? So, and then did I capture everything else? I think so,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do people want you to do?
So here's the pitch the main one. Take half of my 401k, and instead of having the employer plan manage it, have them, this outside firm, manage it.
They want you to do this while you're still working. How would they manage that?
At 59 and a half, I can take withdrawal.
Yeah.
So take, the minimum for them is 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
So take 500,000 and let them manage it.
And how much will they charge you for that favor?
Well, that's one thing they haven't been able to convince me or show me, that the fees would be commensurate with the return and versus what I can do within the.
How did these people get their claws into you?
I probably just seeked help or inquisitive over the internet, I would imagine. And of course, as soon as you ask one question, you get 10 people responding.
Do you have any idea? We don't have to keep the name of the company in, but is it part of a large organization, or is it just?
It's part of a large organization. You'd recognize the name.
Okay. So do you feel like you need help managing your money?
Not really. The funds have done, I guess I'm only comparing what I see, that we use the empowerment tools, for Zero or my company. So when I look at that stuff, it gives you a comparison, how you're doing versus your peers and how you're doing versus your goals. And, everything says I'm in line. That's why I'm hesitant to just, they haven't given me enough evidence to say, okay, let's take half of this and they'll do much better.
Yeah, I would not be interested in doing this right now. First of all, you guys you're socking away money. And I presume once the kids are out of the house, which is obviously going to happen in the next couple of years, you'll have even better cash flow. You're kind of right on the precipice of having about $2 million that's saved in investments. Will you guys be entitled to any pensions?
No.
Okay. How much money do you think you need to live on?
Well, that's the $1 million question. Right now, with the income we have, we're comfortable, and it's probably going to go down as we age, as far as the income. Now, what we need to, for our care is the trump card,
Well, what do you mean by that? I'm just asking you, what do you spend right now? Like, that's all yes, you're comfortable, but that money is taxed. You're putting money away. If you make $225,000 a year together, are you spending $10,000 a month right now? $12,000? That's the number one bit of business that I think you need to do, which is really get a hold of, get your arms around how much you really need to spend. We'll get back to Steve's question in just a minute. If you've got a financial question, go to JillOnMoney.com and hit the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to our conversation with Steve in Minnesota. In 5 years, the mortgages, let's just go forward, right? Let's look ahead. In 5 years, the mortgage is gone. In 5 years, the kids are out. In 5 years, you're still working. You're still making good money, and you're putting money away. And what I think you need to do is, number one, build up your non-retirement assets a little bit during this time. How much money is in your emergency reserve right now?
30.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like you to build that up. But if for some reason, if the company ownership is not worth $300,000 to $500,000, but is worth like $1 million in 5 years, you might be able to call it quits. For every $1 million that you save, you can kind of do a rough back of the envelope calculation. It is rough. Then you could say I could get 30 grand out of that. So if you think about it, if in 5 years, right, you're both, at 65-ish, right? And you say, okay, we've got Social Security, I'm going to just make the number up. We've got $3 or $4 million, and that covers our expenses, then you can actually retire and be very comfortable. If all of a sudden the ownership of the company is really only worth $100,000 for some weird, horrible reason, you're going to probably keep working. But I don't think that your issue has anything to do with your money management. What is the firm that is where the 401k currently lives?
It's through our company and empowerment.
So what are the investments inside of it?
They have these certain portfolios that, low risk, moderate risk, a little higher risk, and then the highest risk. And I'm not in the highest risk. Mm-hmm. I'm in the next one down. And
what's the cost of empowerment retirement assets?
It's within our company. So I guess I don't know. We're a $200 million company with 300 employees, and we're all in that plan. And
okay, that's good, because I'll tell you why. When you have a huge company, they usually have very good cost structure. I'm sure the costs are actually lower than you're going to have with this outside investment firm. I don't see what they're going to do for you. I really don't.
Yeah, and I was not skeptical isn't the right word. I give everybody a fair chance, but I'm a prove it type person, so. We can do better. We can do better. That's all I've heard.
I don't like that as a pitch. You know what my pitch would be if I'm trying to get you as a client? Hey, Steve, you've got a great 401k plan. Just keep it in there. Keep it in there. Do what you're doing. Keep working hard. Would you like to hire us to do a financial plan? We'll do it one time only, and we'll just see if you're on track. Now you tell me what you want to do.
Yeah. And I have a second person that I met with that said that kind of the same thing. I'm going to look at your whole portfolio, your whole being, as far as when you could retire, not just that portion of your money, your healthcare, your all the situations, just kind of like we're doing today, which gave me more comfort than just take half of your money and give it to me and let me do it,
Yeah. Look, I think that when you're thinking about financial advice and financial professionals, if someone wants to manage your money, I'm highly skeptical. Unless you really hate doing it, it's hard for me to pay up for that. If someone wants to do full-on financial planning, I would be happy to pay a fee for that. I would happy. And if they want to say, look, we're going to do financial planning for you, and what we'll do is actually, and is part of our service as that financial planning, is that we're happy to manage the money for you. Okay, that's one thing. But I can do better is not exactly a great pitch. So I think for you, it sounds to me a lot like you're doing a lot of this yourself. You got if empowerment has the tools that you can keep playing with those tools and kind of work or through some of the planning, that's great. And if you want to hire a fee-only financial planner through the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors, or NAPFA, or you want to talk to somebody about a very distinct project. Hey, I'll pay you blank thousands of dollars to do a retirement plan module for me. Then I think that's fine. But you're really on track. So I don't see why you would do that. Look, maybe maybe while you're still working, you don't even need this. Maybe just keep on keeping on. You're not making big decisions here. The more you save, the better off it's going to be. The more you save, I would love, I want you to build up your non-retirement assets, because even even with that partial ownership of the company, there's too many questions around it. But I think if you're building up that non-retirement savings, that's great. And I also think that if you start to really think like, oh my God, I hate working and I really want someone to do full on financial planning, then great, pay them to do the financial plan. But otherwise, I wouldn't do this if I were you.
So the breakdown on that asset allocation is 36% in large cap funds, 25% in bond funds, 19% international funds, 9% mid cap funds, 7% small cap funds, and 4% in specialty.
How would you feel if we had a full-on bear market this year? If you saw your $1 million go to $750 this year, would you freak out or would you be okay?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know if freak out is the right word. I'd be, concerned.
If that's the case, you may want to switch down one level into the next level of portfolio that they're managing. It may be worth it for you just to have a little peace of mind, because maybe you say like, I got $1 million. I really don't want to go to 750, but I got $1 million. I could go to 850. Like 850 would be okay because I knew I could get it back. But if you're willing to wait, or if you were willing to say, hey, if it went down at the wrong time, I'd just keep working. Great. But if you're the kind of person where it's going to really bug you, I might just pop down one risk level in the portfolios that are offered to you, and that could solve a lot of your problems. Okay, if you, like Steve, have a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we finish the program, let's take an email question from Bill, who is looking over his end-of-year statement from his big wirehouse. And he says, it blows my mind how much of my Roth IRA funds went to the firm. I have thoughts about moving it into Betterment or some other low-cost Roth provider, but I have concerns ranging from attachment, my dad set this IRA up for me, to fear. What if it's not the smart move I think it is? Your advice is appreciated. Well, Bill, look, I would like to know a little bit more about what's going on for you in your life, but generally speaking, if you just want the management of this account, then you can go to Betterment. You could go to Vanguard. You could go to Charles Schwab. You could go to Fidelity. There's so many places you could go and just essentially put it on autopilot. And if you are feeling weird because your dad set this up, I don't think your dad would want you to have to pay lots of fees that are unnecessary for an account that, or a relationship that might have been good for him, but it's not really working out for you. I am more than happy to have a longer conversation with you to talk about other stuff going on in your life. But really, if you're concerned about this and it's kind of on your radar and you need a nudge, here's your nudge. Go ahead, move the account. Okay? Don't worry, it'll be all right. All right, if you've got a question about your account, about your retirement, about your investments, about anything going on in your financial life, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and you click the Contact Us button. We encourage you to subscribe to our two podcasts, Jill on Money and I on Money. You can find that on our website. And let's finish out the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer, the best one in the world. And we'd like to ask you to do something nice for someone else today. It will make that person feel so much better, and I guarantee you it will make you feel better. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week.